So the He-Man movie.
So the He-Man movie. I was making some really excellent points. We were talking about how Jared Leto is Skeletor.
Love to hate him though.
He's not great, but I do. Yeah, he's in a lot of movies that he makes those movies that end up
Wouldn't
being
his
bad.
face be covered though? Like
He's not even. It's a complete CG character.
yeah,
It's
so he's just
literally
voiceover
just
then.
his voice.
Yeah.
So they didn't need to use him at all. I don't know who owes him a favor. But no, it's just not doing well, and I don't understand if it's the nostalgia's wore off because we've gone 40 years without. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say 40 years because
It was like a 90s movie.
or
late 80s.
Well, Kevin Smith did a reboot of a very grown-up adult version of it. A couple years ago, I think it made 3 seasons. It just.
It was memed on a little bit with the Hey Yeah song. You know, that was still probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
That's true. And then there's all the Skeletor memes, so I'm surprised. Remember, kids?
Yeah, it's true. Skeletor is definitely still around.
So I just don't know why. I don't know. So I think I have to see it this weekend before it's out of the theaters. That's the long and short. Is I really want to see this film. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be solid, but yeah, I'm kind of bummed.
It's a substantial movie. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes. So.
Oh wow.
Kind of thought it'd be yeah.
But yeah, it's everybody says it's fun. The one downside is that maybe they lean too much into making light of the humor. You know, like I don't know if it's in the movie, but in one of the podcasts I was listening to, he says, you know the shtick where like the heroes all pile into the car, but the car won't start?
Oh.
They said, yeah, they kind of use that kind of shtick too much. And that's usually a good sign that they're not confident that the movie is heroic enough. And they said, but he goes, but it is. He goes, it had a lot of heroism. They did a lot of good stuff with it, with the IP. Anyway, yeah, I'm hoping to see that this weekend and before it leaves theaters because I'm worried it's just not doing well. Master of the Universe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely before me.
Should we switch over to hotter topics?
Hotter topics.
Oh. Well, let's talk a little bit. I mentioned let's talk some hot topics. And by hot topics, I mean
temperature.
Because our air conditioning went out in our office.
Mm-hmm.
And so the hottest week of the year, you and I are scheduled to record, but also we are trying to operate a facility here. We've got a business. And it was, 95 degrees outside and
every day for a week, yeah.
Almost that same temperature inside this office. It was pushing around 80.
Yeah, with all our fans on and everything, it was still. Yeah.
And what I thought as we went through the week, it was so unremarkable that it made it remarkable. That I thought, what a great opportunity to discuss business resiliency. Pull the curtain back on Lighthouse, but also to pose the question to you, what are you doing for business resiliency? See, I think most businesses think that business resilience is just surviving cyber attacks or server problems or things like that. But actually, sometimes it's as simple as environmental concerns like your office losing air conditioning.
Yeah. Or, I think we had a client not recently, in the past couple of years whose like office flooded too, like just weird things like that. Are you able to just pick up at a moment's notice and have your business be fine? Everyone working from home, yeah.
And what was great is we came in on a Monday, air conditioner clearly didn't work. We tried messing around. We had somebody come in, take a look at it. Hey, no, this is big. We have to order parts and get a whole brand new unit. In fact, admittedly, we're still waiting on those parts.
Luckily, this week is cooler.
It's 20 degrees cooler outside. Yeah. But it was what made this a remarkable situation was that it was unremarkable how quickly our team was able to pivot. And that's what inspired me to say, we haven't talked about it, but let's talk about business resiliency and what it means to your business, what it could look like. Because I think from our standpoint, our clients had no idea unless I told them, "Hey, we have no air conditioning."
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I had a few meetings. I talked about it because, hey, why is your
You're going
background
to,
different,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
something.
Oh,
But
you working from home today? Yep. There's
but
no air conditioning in the office. Like
still made the meeting, still talked to people, still had calls.
we
Totally fine.
we had a ton of projects and stuff that were kicking off during that week,
Yeah.
and we made every visit. Everything happened.
Yeah. Communication still totally fine. Able to talk to our team and everything. Everyone was still able to log in and everything. It's totally fine.
And normally we like to notify clients, but we weren't sure. We didn't have answers as to when things were going to happen or whatever. So we just we kept having hope that the next business day we were going to be back to normal. And it ended up being the entire week that we were effectively out of the office.
Yeah. Came in on Monday and then worked from
And that
home.
was it. The rest of the week.
Yeah.
So we let's break it down. I want to share with you what happened to us and what sort of went from there. And so to recap kind of what the timeline of events for us is, of course, we come in, it's the hottest week of the year so far. Come in and for the most part the morning was okay because
weekend wasn't super hot. Yeah.
It wasn't super hot yet. But you could definitely tell the air conditioner was not working. And so we call somebody, we have them come in, take a look at it. No, sorry, this is just not going to happen. And I said, okay, all right. So we got to get a whole brand new unit. This is actually owned by somebody else. So we're a second story building. Go have a conversation with the building owner, see what we're going to do, what we need to do to get things fixed. And so it takes us some time to get things for the quote to come in, for the discussions to happen. And at the end of the day, it just kept feeling like, hey, okay, this could be any time, and just the slightness of 12 hours, so to speak, of sort of delays.
Yeah.
You're only really making progress once or twice a day. So we don't have air conditioning the whole week. Now we've got some portable units and things, and what kind of sort of helped is, we moved me to a front office which doesn't have heating or air conditioning, so we have a portable unit, so I was sort of able to survive there. I came in, operated from that office, and that way we could still handle deliveries and things, and we still position and stage stuff. But our team, we evaluated day by day and pretty much just said, go work from home.
Yeah.
And so we have that luxury now. How do we structure ourselves that way? Because
how do we get there? How do we get to that point where we were able to do that?
We just decided. We didn't have to plan or figure out anything. I just said, hey, everybody, tomorrow we're working from home.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the great things that we have done over the years that has actually proved to be twice over, it's not just COVID that we've refined these, because even during COVID, we really didn't have to adapt much.
We were pretty well prepared. Yeah.
You see, we've always sort of done during our Christmas break, we go into a limited mode, and that way our team can enjoy time with families. We don't really have any on-sites, anything like that. We really go low-key, and we go full remote. So over the years, when you have a team going full remote for a week at a time, we have very specific operating procedures that we handle when we work remote. Shift changes, because we actually go to, skeleton crews on there. So there's shift changes, there's, handoff processes. We have communication tools. And of course, we're big fans of Odoo here. Largely a lot of information communicated between Odoo and Microsoft Teams for real-time collaboration. We use 3CX for our phone system, which is all web-based. There's a lot of cloud-based solutions. And, what's craziest too is a lot of our cloud-based solutions are managed and hosted by ourselves in our own data centers or through cloud data centers that we manage. So we are hosting them externally in some cases, but it's all still our product, because you've heard me talk about in the open source video, it was really important for us to be to own our data.
Yeah, in control of your own back end systems that are very important to your business.
So we own our systems, but we leverage cloud technologies to make our systems redundancy. We use our Harmony Cloud Drive product so that we have access to our file server. We don't need. We do use a VPN, but we use a zero trust VPN that allows us to route traffic that needs to be secure. So if we're logging into our password manager, that's not available on the internet. You have to be logged into the VPN, but it is hosted in one of our cloud partner data centers. So it's a lockdown, isolated server that is only accessible through a VPN, but it's still cloud-based effectively.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of our business management systems that when you VPN in, we don't even need our office. Our office could completely go offline, and our critical systems are still available because it's a cloud-based VPN. And so we're all pretty well practiced in how we use those, how we access them. We test the processes. That's probably the most important thing. Is we routinely have once per year, we have this time period where we all are working together remotely.
Yeah.
And so what would happen if we didn't do any of that? And we come in and now we're trying to figure things out. Right? We're trying to figure out, how do we access this data? How do we maybe we host our own servers, which we do have some solutions that are hosted, but we do replicate a lot to the cloud. So, those offsite services, I didn't shut our data center down here in the office.
Got close though, because it was pretty warm.
I was 2 degrees away from having to shut our cluster down. We didn't have to.
We do have an AC auxiliary machine in there, so that helped a lot.
That was trying. It did its best, and we were circulating air the best we could. But because we had that, we were able to just seamlessly transition.
Yeah.
If we wouldn't have been able to, how are we getting to our clients for doing tickets? I mean, our clients really depend on us, and hopefully you're sitting there going, our clients really depend on us too.
Yeah.
So we really can't afford to be down in any way, shape, or form.
Just phones down alone would be pretty huge. Like
the phones would be terrible, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a critical piece of infrastructure for us. Our ticketing system being able to accept tickets, and our teams being able to communicate with each other and operate. And again, it's just, we would have had lost productivity. We would have had lost communication. We would have leading to very unhappy clients and end users scrambling to try to find answers. So we would be days behind in trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Maybe delays in getting out to projects, or having to schedule or reschedule projects entirely.
A lot of the times we talk about ransomware, we talk about how the most expensive part is actually just the downtime for your business. Yeah. So this is pretty much the same thing. I mean, you kind of alluded to the fact that, ransomware is a similar aspect, but yeah, the disaster in general, environmental or whatever.
Yeah. And proof too. When we think about continuity and resilience, I think a lot about continuity is when something really bad happens and you have to sort of keep moving. Resilience is about adapting immediately, right? So continuity, maybe our building gets blown down and we have to start over. Continuity may have a little bit of downtime to it, but achieving true business resiliency, I think, means that your clients have no idea. And that's what I was really excited and really proud of by the time I realized it. I didn't notice it in the process because, let's be real, what am I worried about?
You're worried about the business operating.
I'm just worried about the business operating, tickets, and clients, and everything. I'm worried about the air conditioner. I'm worried about the, and I have, it was, I think not until late on Thursday or Friday did I message you when everything sort of started to make sense to me, and we were through the week. Did I say, I'm really proud of our team. I know we missed our podcast, but I think it's because by design we have a new topic.
Labs recording.
Oh, it was supposed to be labs recording. That's okay.
That's okay.
This is a legit.
So we didn't have a lab, technically.
So we didn't have a lab last week. Either way, you missed a little bit of Lighthouse love, and that's our air conditioner's fault.
Well, hopefully we're getting a new one. So Things will change.
So we do. We don't know when. That's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing. We don't know when, but it's happening. How about we talk about what types of things can be a threat to your business thriving?
Yeah, we hit on a few of them already. I mean, environmental impacts in some manner is kind of the one most relevant in
That
this.
inspires today.
Yeah, but also we mentioned ransomware, cyber attacks, or that kind of thing. But there's also just like failed drives if you're not backing up, things like that. So just data loss, technology failures, if you will. But then the weird one I kind of want to hit on that I like to think about more so now because we're so involved in kind of our navigate, process improvement and stuff is just like operational fragility,
Yeah.
bottlenecks, things like that are happening. There's no documentation, for example, or just knowledge that exists in one person's head and that's it.
Yep. And this is something that I think a lot of business owners fight with. I mean, we have some growth pains in this area as well. Like that's exactly what we're trying to mitigate and remove. And the reality is that there's just some things that like they stay up here. And if we're not doing appropriate documentation and appropriate operating procedures, that information is not making it to a general area that if something were to happen, because operational fragility could be, what if I go into a coma? I don't want this to happen, but what if I go into a coma? What happens to the business?
Yeah. I mean, another industry would be maybe a little bit easier to document and stuff, but I think our industry and our business is very difficult to build a knowledge base that covers such a broad amount of client software or operations and things like that. So it's a big one for us for sure to think about constantly.
And probably one of those that catches us off guard the most is things like that, operational fragility, and environmental issues. They're just things that we can't.
Yeah, you can't control that.
We have no control. Technology failures do happen. I think I'm not saying, we always say it's a when not if in a lot of cyber attacks. How are we thwarting those items? How are we handling them? Look, it may seem you're being attacked in several different ways. It's not just cyber wise. It really could be. What happens if you lose power in your building? That
Tornado,
does happen.
Fire, flood, anything.
They're doing a lot of electrical work in our town right now.
Yeah. Yesterday I saw some.
The power just constantly fluctuates. I mean, it did yesterday too. Yeah.
There's a stoplight out next to the school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was getting lunch. There's just cops there.
We flickered power at some point yesterday.
Could have been that
Yeah.
related, yeah.
So how does that impact your business?
Yeah, and you have no control over that, so.
Right? It could be as simple as internet too. We have 2 internet connections.
Yeah, backup interconnection. I didn't even think about that. That is a very important one that has saved us a few times.
We have lots of, like, we talked about how critically important we leverage, replication to cloud services and things. That's great. What happens when we lose internet?
Yeah.
We're super fragile at that point, It's real interesting. So today's discussion is about building a safety net. How do you do this?
Yeah.
What are some things to identify? You heard us say a lot. Cloud is a very expensive answer, but actually, if it's done correctly, and you use a lot of, if you're leveraging your own data, I think that's important. I think there's a trade-off here. But cloud infrastructure provides you with a flexibility that is really ideal. We don't have to necessarily do a software as a service product for everything. I think when you do that, you start to learn how expensive the cloud can be. But if you're leveraging the cloud for virtual machine hosting or things like that, look, that type of cloud infrastructure allows us, like our VPN and things, and having a couple of our critical servers hosted in a cloud provider that is only available via VPN. Those types of things means that we have some very easy to access type, to get to, but still providing security.
And that's the kind of beautiful mix that you have to create, is ensuring it's secure while being accessible.
And then understanding that there is a maturity between disaster recovery, then business continuity, and then what we're referring to today is resilience. Disaster recovery means that you have the lowest of sort of maturity. What does that mean? It means you're doing backups. If you have a problem, you can restore, but that there is a recovery process. That's the most downtime that you have. If we're talking about business continuity, it means that you have duplication in effect, but you may have to enact a playbook, right? And then there's business resiliency, which is the ability to effectively shrug off a situation. Now, you may be resilient to, like for us, like, hey, we're resilient to power, or we're resilient to air conditioning, or we're operationally mature here. But if there's a cyber attack, let's be real, there's still probably going to be a continuity plan that has to take effect, right? We're going to have to take things down. So our maturity there is not to resiliency level yet, but I think for that one, a lot of people aren't, because that's somebody going after your data.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's better than a recovery, which is we have to start completely from scratch. Like it's identifying what areas you need to grow in and trying to hit. I think the more that we can push ourselves towards business resiliency, the more uptime you're going to feel, which means that the more comfortable your clients are going to be, and honestly, the more comfortable you're going to be as well. It's having a plan versus not having a plan, and the resilience piece comes into how much does your team know the plan?
Yeah.
And for us, our team knows the plan. We just literally, our conversation at the end of the day on Monday was, it's really hot. There's not going to be air conditioning tomorrow. Work from home. And everybody knew exactly what they needed to do. That was it.
Yeah. I mean, it's as broad as, do you have your VPN credentials? Have you tested it recently? And, should I bring a headset home? Like,
yep.
It can be the small granular things, but also the big things. It's just actionable items.
And we tell people, look, I know a lot of people, you probably don't touch your laptop when you go home, right? Like, for the most part, it stays in your bag.
Yeah.
But our requirement is that anything can happen, take your computer home.
Yep. Yeah.
So
stay mobile. That
means if something were to happen overnight, our team still has their devices with them, so it's
and our computers are backed up and things like that too, though, so it's also kind of secure as well.
So if my team couldn't walk into the office tomorrow, am I able to work? The better question is at the same token, if you're out there listening, if your team couldn't walk into the office tomorrow, what does that look like? So if you're not sure the answer to that question, that's where companies like Lighthouse really shine. Like, that's why you should work with us. We want to talk to you about what your concerns are. We can build out these resilient strategies. And that way it's not just sort of being a convenience. We're actually looking at it from the standpoint of your concern, right? For some, it's a calculated risk. I only need these items to be able to run in an emergency. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some clients, they don't care as long as they ship product. The rest of the show could be down. They can't take orders. That's fine. But as long as we've delivered orders we've promised, that's real money, right? They can just write down what is your pain point? What is your level of pain? So
it's different for everybody. So the plan's never the same. You can't just download a template.
So let's ask some questions. What do you think? Let's talk about working towards resilience. Here's some questions that you should ask. Do you have a key employee, or are you that key person? If you were unable to work tomorrow, or your key employee left tomorrow,
mm-hmm.
would your operation survive?
Yeah.
What's your contingency there?
Do you have documentation? Do you have a second person who knows the role? Do we have, there's a lot of ways you can kind of make it easier, but
I mean, I hate to say it, like personal health is a fear, right? Like anything can happen. We don't know. So how documented, or more importantly, if it's easily documented, how automated are your workflows so that you can protect against disruption?
Yeah. Yeah. Automation's huge. Understanding your workflows too, and having the process documented somewhere is extremely important.
And if there's very little variables, with the use of AI, you can automate workflows very easily if you have appropriate documentation. It's very, very simple. Understanding integrated business systems, this just, I think, just highlights for us is like our users, they have one portal. Yeah, I mean, we have a couple portals that we use, but the vast majority of our data is available through one system. And being able to use that means that we just need to make sure that point of failure we attract all of our attentions to, right? I know it seems like, oh, that's a single point of failure. It is, but I can focus my efforts on making that one system highly resilient.
Yeah.
So I can put, firewall services in front of it. I can put
multiple backups.
I can have plans for all of that so that when we need to, we can just migrate. Yeah. We can just switch.
What's our backups? Technically, it's like 5 different backups for our main system or something, and it's different continents and everything. It's crazy.
We do, yeah. There's effectively 5 copies of our database distributed geographically, and it's all automated for us. So if there's something that happens, we should be in good shape, right? Like, and we can go back at least a week if we needed to. And if something really bad happened, we could take that database and we could restore it on our own equipment.
Yeah.
So even if the provider fails, we have a copy of that data that we can access. So, just having those types of things, by making it one system, our restore point, we get that up and running, we're happy, we're ready to go, right? So here's some homework for you. Identify your top 3 what ifs X disappeared. And X could be the person, software, tool, location.
Yeah, it could be the entire branch office. What happens to
office,
that?
What happened? What is that? Ask yourself that, and let's go, because I think this conversation of business resiliency just sort of was like, man, it was really nice to be able to have an emergency, and we really just say, work from home tomorrow, and life continued, business continued. We didn't skip a beat at all.
Yeah, clients, it's weird to say, but they didn't know, which is fine. That's ideal, honestly.
Our air conditioner story is small compared to many things that happen in the world.
Yeah, didn't have a fire, didn't lose somebody,
It's highly recoverable, was not a big deal, but it was something that was able to test our systems and to prove that it could have been a much bigger disruption.
Yeah, out of cycle. We're generally a little bit more prepared when it's December and Christmas is coming up, and it's slow.
Yeah.
But
we didn't miss a beat because everybody knew what they needed to do. We had a good plan in place, and we just needed to execute. It was the same story. Look, the air conditioner is one story. To be honest with you, we are more mature than we were in 2020. But at the same token, for us, for COVID, I remember, if you remember, we were doing test days because we knew that there was something going on. Yeah. And we took a couple of days. I think we had half the team test on an afternoon.
We did like a half Friday or something like that. And
we had everybody make sure that they were good. We were still in the office, but we sent half of the team home to test and work from home. Then the next day we sent the other half, or maybe it was one day, I don't remember. And what was funny is we did all of that, and then we ended up making it so that we were going to just work from home out of abundance of caution. And the day that we picked, that afternoon is when the governor said, you need to, we're shutting things down.
Yep.
We were already working from home.
Yeah, that took a lot of people by surprise, and we were
already
weirdly
there.
ahead of it. Yeah.
So it just... Even then,
callback is really funny for the podcast because that was when we started it, and that was probably one of the first episodes was talking about business resilience. And is your team mobile? Is your team able to? Do you need help? You know, that kind of thing.
What's the new world look like?
Yeah. So
And here we
cut
are,
a full circle here,
6 years later,
and this is the last podcast.
and this is hopefully not. Hopefully not. So, my challenge for you: think about, identify, and maybe try to create a disruption. Can your team work remotely? Can your team work disrupted?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe try it, find out. Do the half office thing. See what you've got. Find out what your users had problems with. Those are the things that you need to work on and fix.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And if you find it's an absolute mess, chaos everywhere, then maybe we can help automate, establish process first, and then go to, go from there.
That's a great time to bring us in. So that does it for this episode of the Lighthouse IT Solutions podcast. I appreciate Griff and I mean, everybody in our whole team for making our very warm week a story to share by example on what to do instead of what not to do. I hope and challenge you out there to figure out what you can do to be resilient. It's really, boy, I tell you what, it let me focus on the things that were stressful rather than also trying to keep my team busy.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. Or having to make everybody come in the office and just sweat.
Yeah, that'd have been miserable.
Like,
I mean, we're still not out of the woods yet. It's not fixed yet, but
it's not fixed
cool this
yet,
week. So,
but it's cooler, right?
Yeah.
We're in the 70s, and so we're working there. We're getting there, and we're still. If everything, like if it got too bad today, we come back from lunch.
Yeah.
I would just say go home,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. We don't ask twice on it. In the meantime, while you're trying to figure all of that out, or maybe you're trying to put together a simulation plan, reach out to us. Maybe we can help you design that, or we can help manage that for you, help you go through the results and come up with answers to those items. If you're not quite ready yet, make sure you check out lighthousesol.com/blog. You can see all of our other blogs, and then or /podcast. Well, check out our other podcasts where we talk about open source. I think that one is a great one to maybe visit. These are great solutions. We talk a little bit about owning your data and how the open source movement's really moving there. Really love that conversation. And, backups, things like that. There's all kinds of great things that we've talked about over the past. As Griff said, this is 6 years of podcasting, and there's a lot to talk about. And while this may be a repeat in some way, it is a new example in a new world that we didn't know what was going to happen during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We thought it was just a temporary resiliency. We were talking more on continuity and things. And now it's funny to think here we are. AI is a thing.
Yeah, man, the world's very
Automation
different.
is at its highest ability whatsoever, and it's
Accessible,
really a great time frame for us to be looking at how we can focus on our own resilience.
Mm-hmm.
So check it out. Reach out if you need it. And I think that does it for another episode of the Lighthouse IT Solutions podcast.
Thanks.